get that luxury.
For
Sure.
really though, for really though. Montel Allen is in the building. I'm James Hicks. I don't know what we're doing, but we call it Team No Sleep, folks. We call it Team No Sleep. What it do, man? Good to see you, brother.
Blessed, man. Blessed to be stressed, man. So I can't complain at all.
Blessed to be. That's gonna be the next T-shirt. My God, you said
Hey,
blessed to be stressed.
that's right.
Uh, what's the day? April 10th. You know, getting closer and closer to tax time. I'm not gonna have a downer like that. We're not gonna start the show talking about that. But
No, no. Mine. I'm going for that extension. Sure. But I ain't ready to file just yet. I ain't ready. I ain't ready.
you know, you're not
You
ready to
know.
write that check yet, huh? I ain't
No,
mad at
I ain't
you,
ready to
man.
write that check yet. So I'm filing for that extension. As a matter of fact, I got to send my paperwork over to my tax person later on today. Sure,
My
later on tonight.
goodness. My goodness. Listen, I hear you, man. I feel you, man. Mr. Stark, I see you in the building, so I appreciate you. I see you came over to YouTube as well because we are exclusive. Listen, YouTube now. This is where the folks are at. This is where we got young Mr. Allen, that NIL deal. This is where folks be, right? This is where the
Yep.
community is. So we gonna mature the community over here on YouTube and allows everyone to participate fully. And this is how we gonna get down. This is how we gonna get down. So let's do this, man. Let's go and get into these stories. We got a handful of them that we want to get into. Let's start
Yes, sir.
with we've been talking about. Oh my God, a lot of these stories tonight. We've been talking about these topics for a long time.
Yep.
We breaking ground. We've been making people upset because we talking about sensitive issues, but that's what we do. Social impact of sport. Here we are right now. The NAIA. Y'all may not know them, but you know who the NCAA is. Just think smaller schools. But the
Mhm.
NAIA has officially come out and put a policy in place, as you see from this headline, essentially bans transgender athletes from women's sport.
Yep.
Folks, we told you that the ball was at the top of the hill and was going to start rolling. The ball is rolling down the hill very fast now. This
Yep.
this is this is a big deal for all these little schools because essentially it's saying what we've had questions about needs to be addressed, and especially needs to be addressed around now when the Olympics is about to happen, right? So you got all this stuff that's happening. Somebody has to come out and say it. Talk to me a little bit about what you think about this situation right here, and then I'll let the audience kick in as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So explain NAIA from NCAA. Basically, NIA is a, I wouldn't say competitor, but a co-parent of what the NCAA does. Most of the schools from NIA are found pretty much on religious base and in smaller communities and smaller towns, really prevalent throughout the Midwest and down south. They've came out and they've said, we're not going to allow transgenders to compete against women and take away their shine. They acknowledge it's an unfair advantage. And I think this is like you said, the ball was at the top of the peak, and now NAI decided to take the first step forward and push it on over to get it rolling down. And I think it's real prevalent, especially within NAI, because they've been the fronters when it comes to women's flag football being at the collegiate sport.
Mm.
They were the first to adopt it and the first to put it out there. They're one of the few governing bodies that cover women's wrestling, in a big way. They have a lot of women wrestlers at their school. So I think they're saying since we're really allowing women to participate in these sports, physical sports, and things of this nature, we're not going to allow that unfair advantage of a biological male competing at that level. Whether you agree with it or not, I think it's definitely a step forward to putting some framework around how
Mm.
transgender athletes are going to be involved in college and probably high school. I think this is the first step, and I think I commend NAI for taking that step. I mean, this is a big step. I know people don't say a lot about it because it's not the NCAA and the glitz and glamour and all over TV, but please make no mistake, this is really huge, and I wouldn't doubt that NCAA starts to follow suit right away.
Right away, or I'll say soon, because what the NCAA, and I'm gonna read this story. What the
Yeah.
NCAA came out and said was really kind of a PC thing, right? They were trying to really be cool about the topic and not cause any stir. What's
Mm-hmm.
going on, Chief? I see you in the building. Appreciate you. I like that avatar on your YouTube there, man. That's a dope picture, man. Dan, I see you, man. You can definitely chime in on this statement, on this comment as well. According to the policy, and let me read this out to folks. All athletes may participate in NAIA sponsored male sports but only athletes whose biological sex assigned at birth as female will be able to participate in competition. So you can play in practice, you can go hang out in warm-ups, you can go do team activities, you can do the OTAs, but when it comes to the competition piece, if you identify as transgender and if you've already started that hormone therapy, right? So that's one of the caveats as well. If you've already started going through that process, you can't participate in competition at the NAIA level. That's a huge thing. And so I wanted to talk about what the NCAA said, because I know what you just said was real interesting. But the NCAA came out and said, what did they say?
You just pass it. Oh, there you go, right there. I think.
I can't see, man. You know, I got my glasses on. I can't see.
Please, the last paragraph. Is that the one where they made a comment?
Emphasize urgency in having. Oh yeah, NCAA pretty much came out and just said, "Listen, we hear this, we see this, but we're gonna focus on Title IX. We're gonna focus on Title IX fairness and equality." Prohibits any sex-based discrimination. They didn't say anything specifically about competition from a transgender athlete perspective. So again, they're separating themselves right now. Go ahead, man.
But do you think they're separating themselves because they just got sued twice? They're getting sued. They got 2 lawsuits against them. The one about the swimmer, the girl that lost, she just put a lawsuit against them, and there was another woman that did the same thing, I think, for track or one of the other sports that are transgender. They lost in track to do a transgender. So they got 2 major lawsuits against them, the NCAA. Is that their caveat to kind of be PC for right now and try to figure it out until these lawsuits are either settled or settled in court? Because the one with the swimmer, that's going to get big. That's going to go big.
That's the huge one. That's the big one, right?
That's a big one, because she was one of the top-ranked swimmers before that the transgender male from Penn started swimming against her, and then all of a sudden, she, all her hard work, what she worked for to get to everything she wanted to work for, was kind of taken away based on this person being competition. And if you want to go by fairness, it wasn't fair. It's not fair. It wasn't fair. And not only that, they also have another lawsuit based on that gentleman, or I'm sorry, that transgender was able to dress. He exposed himself in their locker room as well while he was getting ready for the meet against other women. So I think the NCAA is treading lightly because they have to, right? They got all these things going on. I like the firm stand that the NAIA takes. Like, no, we're not even going. That's our bylaws. We're not going to even deal with it. And we got to also understand, NAIA is a lot of religious-based schools. Religious-based with the Catholic, Christian, Lutheran, whatever you be. There are a lot of religious-based schools, so the religion factor becomes a part of that. I think they all want to compete in fairness. I don't think they have any problem with that, but I do believe that carrying away with that kind of this emphasis of bylaws with the school governing body in athletics, I commend them for taking a stand, whether it's right or wrong or indifferent.
Yeah.
I'm not negating that, but I do believe I applaud them for taking the stands, because everybody's treading so lightly on this issue and don't want to.
Somebody had to do it, right? Someone had to pull the scab off.
Someone has to do something. Yeah.
and they did it, and they expect, and we expect, there to be some, like you say, lawsuits. There's already been some agencies and some groups that have said, this is discrimination, this isn't a good thing, and all that. It was real interesting to see, though, that Coach Staley was interviewed before the championship game about how she feels about this, and Coach Staley says, "Listen, transgender athletes should be able to play." Now, again, she said this realizing that she's a lightning rod, anything that she says, especially at the time. And in this quote, in this article, she says, "Listen, I know now, so now the barnstormer people are going to flood my timeline and be a distraction to me on one of the biggest days of our game." Right before the championship game. The other coach for Iowa declined to get into detail about it, because, again, knowing that it was a political conversation, and then again they were locked in on the game in hand. But that's interesting to see, right? Coach Staley is saying, let's let him play. A lot of folks are saying, yeah, let him play as well. NAIA is coming out and saying, you can practice, you can warm up, you can spot somebody in the gym when we training, but when it's time to lace them up, you can't compete.
You can't compete, and I think as the growth of women's sports, especially the physical sports like MMA, is growing big time. With that, especially with female fighters, female boxing is a growing sport now. Again, wrestling at the collegiate level is a growing sport right now. And now you got flag football. That's going to be a growing sport, which basically kind of like it gets physical, like rugby almost. So now we're having these kind of sports that are really starting to get step forefront. You don't want that unfair competition being a part of it.
Yes.
Because again, we've seen what happens sometimes when transgenders get into these situations. Some of them are really physically stronger and bigger than a lot of these women, and they take advantage of that and they win their competition. Like we saw the MMA person that the MMA transgender that fought the woman, he beat her pretty bad in that situation. So I think NAIA should be commended for taking a stand. Like they've even taken a stand before the Olympics has taken a stand,
which is crazy.
They've taken
right, yeah.
They've taken a stand and said, "Hey, we are not going to allow that to happen in a competition basis because whatever reason they feel." I don't know, and I already told you the answer to me. I think first of all, let me retract back. I think the NCAA, that comment they made is cowardly. They said they want to hide behind the Title IX thing, or they just concentrated on Title IX. Because if that's the case, where does transgender fall under Title IX? For fair equality, and Title IX really comes effective when it comes to scholarships. So if anybody doesn't know, for as many male scholarships you have to have female scholarships, 1-for-1 ratio. Transgenders now fall into this category. Where do they fall? Do they fall under a group under the women, a group under the men, depending on what sex they've changed it to? Or do they fall under their own category and get the same amount of scholarships that men, women, and now transgender should also get the same amount of scholarships? I mean, where's the balance at that? Where do we go when it comes to that? Because you got to think, the problem with a lot of sports and a lot of teams that leave their sports is because they can't find the equality for Title IX. So if you can't, you have to drop a sport and make sure it's even out, or it's within a certain percentage. So a lot of schools, especially in California, a lot of schools drop football. They couldn't find 40 to 50 girls to give scholarships to participate in the sport.
Yeah.
There wasn't a women's sport that has 40 or 50 people participants. So they had to drop football programs. Now you bring in, and that's for male and female. Now you add another caveat at that with transgender. Do they fit under their own silo or their own caveat, or do they integrate within? I don't know. And I find that interesting that they're trying to say that, where they just don't want to take a stand and say, you know what, this is what it is, or this is where we're at right now, and we're going to go forth with it.
Yeah,
I'm not understanding. I think that was pretty just cowardly to say Title IX. Oh, we're hiding behind Title IX. We really don't want to discuss it. So
they definitely took. I'm gonna say they take the low road just by not really being real descriptive on that. But again, I will give the NAIA credit for maybe not knowing everything to say. Again, just like NIL, right? We knew it was going to be a storm of just controversy and questions and all that, and trying to figure out what to do. They took that first leap. Here's an interesting question that came in from the comments, and I want to hear your perspective, and I want to hear, and I'll give you mine as well. Dan is saying, is this philosophical view that you have, is it coming from a religious perspective, or is it coming more just from a personal perspective?
I mean, a little bit of both. And I'll say from a philosophical perspective, I kind of agree with it because I think there's an unfair advantage when it comes to transgender, especially competing with the women's side. I just think that's a science. Personal view, I put myself always in a situation how I would feel if they competed against my daughter and if they took it away from me. So I'm not the people who's going to hide behind and say I don't have a personal view or I have a personal opinion about it. I do, because my daughter was in that situation. She worked her tail off and she's running in track, and then someone that used to run in track, there was a male, but they weren't very good. Now they come to my daughter's level, and now they're dominating and taking all the medals, which my daughter worked so hard over because they have a scientific makeup that's stronger than hers at this point for them to be successful. I would have a problem because that's just like someone taking steroids, right? They have an unfair advantage. Yeah. Somebody taking an illegal drug, they have an unfair advantage. This person has an unfair biological makeup that's unfair in that particular sport. So yes, I see it from both sides. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, and I'll answer and say very similar, right? I mean, this particular topic, I'm raised in the church, born in the church, very, very God-fearing man. This particular issue, though, I look at it more, again, just from a fairness perspective. And again, we had this conversation a few months ago talking about, again, being fathers of daughters. And so I'm going to be selfish and be biased here. Fathers of daughters. If some 250-pound man who wanted to now identify as female, that's fine. I have no problem with that. But if you wanted to play in the same sport as my daughter, she wanted to play basketball, you wanted to play basketball, well, and you ended up being center, so you are now posting her up down there in the paint,
Mm-hmm.
and you flailing, and you've got this just advantage from a size perspective, just because of your genetic makeup.
Yep.
I'm gonna have a problem with that. I have no problem with 6'7" center from the South Carolina Gamecocks.
Mm-hmm.
I have no problem with her, but I do have a challenge and a problem with a dude who now wants to be, or identifies as a female, wants to go swimming with the girls and is killing them in the pool now.
Yeah.
Couldn't swim at all with the fellas. Was coming in last place. Wasn't even finishing the race. But now, and I have no problem with you at some point within your life saying that, you know what, I feel this way, I identify this way, and I am this. That's fine. I got folks in my family that are like that as well. And there's nothing wrong with that. But just from a fairness, from a competition perspective, from an equitable opportunity perspective, no. I say no like that, but I say yes to having this conversation. It's an uncomfortable conversation, this is the type of conversation that needs to be happening.
I think it's interesting that he said that, and I appreciate him commenting that. I like I said, I do feel personal, but again, I think, and we've talked about this before, there has to be some type of establishment where you have, men versus men and women versus women competition, or if there's a COI, and then you have to probably create a lane for transgender, for them to compete against each other. That probably would be that might be something that might be a possibility. I'm not quite sure, but I think I don't have anybody's sexual preference. I don't care what they identify with. That's your own personal business. But then when we come to where sports is supposed to be fair, the fairness part, like you said, there's obviously some stuff that is not fair when it comes to that. And, it's disheartening because I want those people to be able to compete too. I want transgenders, if they want the feeling to be able to compete at a high level, I want to give them, I would love for them to do that, but they can't be in a situation where you, like in the swimmer's case, where he wasn't very good when he was competing against men, and then now he found a lane that he can identify and go. And maybe that's not the reason. Maybe he always a transgender, but for him to go say, okay, now I'm going to go swim with women and then dominate, he just took away all the credibility from all the hard work those women been working for.
Yeah, y'all look it up. Y'all research Riley Gaines. Team No Sleep. We talked about her many times before. Riley Gaines. We talked about that. So take a look at that. Gretchen, what's going on? We see. I was gonna say, she says dropping a football program can be a disservice to athletes in other sports because often the money made from football supports other sport programs. That's true. We've said that as well.
That's 100%
right?
true.
That's nothing but the truth. Gretchen coming here dropping dimes.
I think that's a great statement, because that leads me to like schools like in California, and I know a lot about California, especially like Division II football. Schools like Sonoma State, schools like even Azusa Pacific now, schools like I wouldn't say Cal State Humboldt, but like Chico, all of them have suffered from two different reasons when they drop football. They suffer from not only from enrollment and getting that money from the football programs, but they also suffer from a lack of diversity with black and Polynesian males on their campus. It's just a known fact. Sonoma State has really got hit hard by this impact, by them dropping football, because now not a lot of people even go to those schools, that are men of color. And plus, football is a mechanism to draw those men of color to go to school. So I think you're right, Gretchen. That's
true.
It's sad that they do it, that they drop it.
That's true, man. Listen, keep coming in with the comments, folks. We see you out there. Don't be bashful. We family here, right? We only get better when we communicate.
We pride ourselves on having an uncomfortable conversation. So ask away. I will do my best not to shy away from it. Definitely.
We don't know all the answers, but we can Monday morning quarterback, and we know some things as well, right? And we can bring in some experts. So here's an interesting thing, though. Okay, so let's go on to the next subject, which is kind of related.
Yeah.
We're talking football, we're talking sports at the high school level, at the college level. We're talking football.
Mhm.
We're talking football, and we're talking women.
Yep.
The hottest rising sport, y'all, in all of sports right now, in all of sports, is what? What do I'm just gonna wait to see if anyone chimes in. The hottest rising sport right now for women, not soccer, not gymnastics.
Nope.
The hottest rising sport is women's flag football.
Yep.
At the high school level, at the junior high level. Listen, y'all got the TikTok and you got Instagram. You see the young girls out there juking kids out there making moves and doing their thing. At the high school level, at the junior high level, at the college level, at the college level, which is now also at the HBCU level.
Yeah, which is huge.
That's a significant thing right there. So yeah, we've got it everywhere else, right? We've got a lot of other places, but now we got someone like an Alabama State come in and saying, "Listen, okay, we gonna get this money too. We gonna get this recognition too."
Yeah.
Let's talk about this, man. This is up your alley right here, right?
Yeah, this is huge. This is huge because they're like one of the few Division Ones that have competitive women's flag football.
Division
They
One.
have Division One, yeah, at scholarship based now. I mean, NAIA has had it for I think 2 years now. They got scholarship based what they're doing for it, but nothing like the Division One level. Like Division One, those fully paid. You know, you get the dorm room and all that other good stuff for you to go play football at this level. And I believe it's starting to grow majorly. Alabama Steps AD really took a step forward and said, we're going to be the first ones to do it within HBCUs. I think, and I believe that Grambling and Southern will all be right behind doing it. And this is a really big catapult because this is more content for the HBCU networks. This is for them to be televised on TVs. This is for them to get the recognition they deserve. I just believe this sport is going to grow. Not as big as the men, of course not now, but we always thought NCAA women's basketball wasn't going to be as big as the men, and now look at it now. Women's basketball at the collegiate level is bigger than the men's basketball.
Yeah.
So there is an audience for women's flag football. Not for them just to play. There's an audience that wants to watch it and for them to participate in it and for them to see it, and now for an opportunity for everyone's daughter out there to get a scholarship. So I think these are huge moves, and kudos to Alabama State for being the first one to set the trend in the HBCU realm.
Listen, I would go watch. Listen, I would be a raving fanatic. I would be out there cheering them on. So I love the fact, again, just that bit of context. D1, HBCU, the fact that it's gaining popularity, growing at all levels. So yeah, Alabama State doing the first. We saw a couple of other schools. I wanted to bring up about, again, flag football is expanding nationwide as the next emerging high school sport for girls.
Oh yeah, it's probably in 90% of the high schools in California now. Right. I would probably say.
That's good stuff.
And only growing. And I can tell you right now, we had our first female all-star game. Matter of fact, I was the first to put on an all-star game for flag football for women.
Go ahead, say it again, brother. Don't be humble on the live. Say it one more time.
We were number one. The SDNFNL Women's Flag All-Star Game was the first in California, and we had a lot of success. And it was an exciting game. It was the girls are very coachable. They do very, very well. They were all seniors. I believe we had about 24 participants, and I know at least 6 or 7 of them got scholarships out of that game.
Wow.
So the sport is growing, the recruiting is growing, and it's a great opportunity for young women that like football to play, and they can continue it. They not only have to stick in high school where it ends there, it goes on now to the collegiate level and helps to pay for their education. So, man, shout out, man. I think it's going to be big. I think the states we're going to see if the trend starts really big, like in Florida and Texas, like we have in California. I think you'll start to see the trend all across the country. But the heavier states that have bad weather, it may be a little bit tricky, right? Because of the weather sense, because you play it outside.
That's a good point.
I think the states that traditionally have, the traditional states like Arizona, New Mexico, California, and maybe down the southern region, the southern coast, I think you'll see it's going to be a really big boom because the weather's going to permit for them to play a lot more.
Well, we got Alabama, and I'm showing the story right here. We got Tennessee. You're
Yeah.
right. Once it hits Texas, though, that's when it's definitely grown up. That's when you know it's big time. That's when you know it's the big time. Oh my God! And Gretchen put in. I got to put this up there because so she says her 5-year-old granddaughter loves playing flag football, and here I love that part. Here's the part I have a challenge with. Her mother ran track at U of Oregon. Gretchen, you know we beavers around here, right? We don't mess with them ducks, but I still love you, appreciate you. You know, we beavers around here, player. We beavers around here. I want to go back to another bit of comment here because I had a little bit of a dialogue with my man, Mr. Dan back here, the honest accomplice, and he was asking, he was saying, uncomfortable conversation, but this one is none of us can really step into the shoes of. He's not transgender and he does not know what it's like to be transgender. So how can he make a judgment? And I completely agree with him on that. Just looking for context, just looking to have a discussion. And I think it's healthy for us to all have the discussion. We're not over here setting rules, bylaws, and ordinances, things of that nature. But again, as a society, I don't think we can ever get ahead if we don't at least have this conversation, have this discussion. I'm not a separation of church and state kind of guy. I'll go into the office and I'll start talking about, I don't talk too much politics, but we will talk some certain things. And again, it's when you start having those relationships with folks, I think it's good to have uncomfortable conversations so we can all heal and we can all grow. So Dan,
well,
I didn't want you to think that we overshadowed your question.
No, absolutely not. And I thank you for the comment. Absolutely, big time. But I mean, you got to also look. I can only look through it through my eyes, right? I can only see through my eyes and what I see and what my experiences with them. So I try to be openly, honestly, how I feel about the situation. And I'm not saying my perspective is necessarily always right, but I don't think I'm always wrong either. I think I can only speak my truth. So with that said, that's how I had that opinion. That's how I come with the opinion that I have. And he has his opinion on what he wants to see and how he wants to view it and how he wants to look at it. I personally believe when it comes to sports competition, I think it's an unfair advantage. I do, because I've seen so many of the situations where it's big time unfair. And like I said, I want them to compete, but I mean, we just got to find a common ground. And right now there's no common ground. So right now I will be opinionated, and I will take the side that I look through it at. Yeah. And hopefully we respect that. Yeah,
but we gonna, I don't know, we're not gonna give him too much of a loose on this because he says he's not gonna watch flag football. He thinks, come on, brother, we gotta listen. Dan, I watch curling during the Olympics. That's the kind of dude I get. I'm down with the brooms and the sweeping of the ice. You need to get into flag football, brother.
I mean, you got to give it a chance. I mean,
you got to come on, give it a chance, Dan.
You know what's funny? Because I used to say the same thing about women's soccer, remember? And you introduced me to women's soccer, and I became a big fanatic. I put you on girls basketball.
Yes, you did.
And you were like, and now you texting me about girls
listen, brother. Why you put me all out there in the street?
Yeah. So now I just think people need to give it a chance. I mean, don't get me wrong. I was skeptical about it too when I first saw it. Like, girls football, it's not going to be as exciting. Might be boring or whatnot. And I was completely wrong. I was 100% wrong. Watching it and then seeing the girls playing our game, and then how they interact and how they really want to learn and how they're really involved and how competitive the game was and how successful it was. Hey, I'm not gonna knock a sport until I at least give it a try and watch it.
No, not
like me and baseball. Me and baseball don't get along at all.
See, come on, man. I'm gonna feed you full of peanuts and hot dogs, and we gonna do some baseball. Are we talking baseball? No, we're not talking baseball. But listen. No. And why you put me out there?
Let's do it. Let's recomment on that situation at the end about the baseball thing.
Okay, we'll recomment. We'll reach back out to that because you blowing up all over the internet about your Ohtani statement right there. I got folks reaching out to me left and right. I haven't told you about that. And then you put me on blast about the women's basketball just because I'm texting you like in the middle of the night. Man, you see Caitlin Clark, you see dropping dimes. My dad's on the line here. We were in Nevada watching the championship game, and I'm sitting there texting Montel back and forth. Man, you see this game, bro? Okay.
two years ago, you were like, girls basketball, it's all right, it's cool.
Yeah, I wasn't feeling it, but now, listen, I'm all about it. I'm about it. I know more players on the girls' side than I do on the dudes' side. Okay, let's.
Okay, he's a hockey guy. Okay, I got you. You're a hockey guy. All right.
I gotta learn the rules of hockey first. I can't. It's too much fighting.
Hey, I'm gonna give props to hockey real quick because he's a hockey guy. Those are some of the most amazing athletes in the world. To be as big as those guys are, as fast as those guys are on skates, and to be physical the way they are in controlling the stick and the puck. Man, I used to be like, hockey, but no, man, I'll give them props. Where do you mind telling us where you live and what state you live in? Because I know hockey.
So Dan is down there by you actually. So he's down there in Southern Cal. He's down in your neck of the woods. Yeah. So before we go on the next story, so Gretchen trying to make nice. So sorry, but when Track City USA calls and offers a walk-on spot on the track team, my daughter turned from generations of Huskies to be a Duck. My girl's one daughter Husky crew, one Duck track. All right.
Man, don't let them try to bully you with them Beavers. Them Beavers.
Listen, I will drive from Corvallis to Eugene, and I will TP that entire. Well, no, I won't do that because
you won't do none of that. Yeah, you just talking.
We Nike.
You better leave Duck Nation alone, man.
I know. I don't want to mess with them. I got family 30 miles away down in Corvallis, so I don't want all them ducks driving down and messing with my Beavers. So there we go. Been a Seattle Storm fan for years. He's played 20 years until he was too injured to continue. Jersey born and bred. Love it.
Okay, East Coast guy. That's why he's a hockey fan. Big time.
That's what it is. Yeah, that's what it is. Loving the engagement. I'm seeing a lot of folks that are tuned in and chimed in. Listen, don't be afraid to leave comments. Tell somebody to chime in and leave a comment. We talking about some stuff, y'all. Let's move on though. We got a strong woman focus tonight. We talked about this. We talked a little bit about this a few weeks ago. I don't think folks realize the extent or the importance of it. If you don't live in Northern California area, and again, if you're not a baseball fan, you probably didn't care about the Oakland A's. But now, when the Oakland A's going and doing their thing, now they're actually going to be playing up here in Sacramento area because they're going to be moving to Vegas as they build that new field and everything out there. Now we got the Oakland Ballers. The Oakland Ballers is just a bunch of folks from the neighborhood. They said, "Listen, we're not gonna leave y'all hanging because we want baseball."
Yeah,
they do play in the league. They have their league and everything. But the Oakland Ballers had open tryouts, and we talked about this the week before they were doing tryouts. And we said, "Listen, if y'all want to go try out, go try out." Laney College. Y'all know Laney College? What was the show?
You're the one I'm talking about the Netflix show. I got you.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Go try out at Laney College. A lot of folks went out there and tried out. One particular person that tried out, Kelsie Whitmore. Kelsie Whitmore is right-handed pitcher. Kelsie Whitmore went out there and showed him what she do, and she showed him how to throw that ball. Kelsie Whitmore got signed to the team. Kelsie Whitmore is the first female signed to an professional baseball team.
Yep.
Come on, man. This is a good day. This is a good day right here.
That's huge, man. I think that's huge, and she's breaking ground, and people probably outside don't really understand, I think, the significance of it, but I think it's a huge movement. I think as these smaller level professional leagues kind of start to grow, leagues that women are able to compete in and be effective and be strong at, I mean, by all means, put them in and let them go. Let them rock and roll with it. And she broke ground on this and made the team. And I hope she becomes a local favorite, a local star, man, because that's huge. I think that's just huge for her to be able to break into professional baseball through open tryouts. Yeah. You know what I mean?
And what's cool was she wasn't the only woman that tried out. This story right here from San Francisco Chronicle shows and proves that a ton of folks went out there who probably didn't have all of the top tier skills. But you know what? We're going to go out there and represent. And this lady right here says, I tried out for the Ballers thinking of the women before and after me. She went out there, put a glove on, swung the bat, fielded some bases, ran around, right? And did the thing because you're not going to tell me no. I'm going to go out there and do
I got a question for you now, just leading about. Why hasn't baseball endorsed a professional softball league, or endorsed a women's baseball league. I know they used to have it way back in the day, right? That movie was based off of when they had women's baseball back in the day, right?
Yeah.
The one I forgot the name of the movie, but
yeah, because there's no crying in baseball, right? I know that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm just saying why have I mean, baseball's never entertained it. I wonder why.
Yeah.
I mean, because obviously right now, everything that we've always said about women's sports, that there's no market for it, is this, and that. We're obviously starting to show that we're wrong about.
Yeah, no, women are winning. Women in athletics right now are winning. Well, they've been winning for a long time, especially you think about soccer. The women's soccer team has always been better than the men's team.
Yeah.
Sorry, but now we're because of the Caitlin Clarks and the Angel Reeses and the LSUs and all of that. We're seeing more and more women's athletics, and women are just killing the game.
Yeah, they just started. They're taking it to another level. And I mean, we started saying we saw it in the MMA when the one lady was dominating MMA, fighting for a long time before she got beat, and now the League of Ronda Rousey.
Ronda Rousey.
Ronda Rousey was dominating, so she was in that level. I mean, we've seen these flurries, but I've always wondered why baseball hasn't entertained it. I mean, we even have women football leagues, right? There's women professional football leagues that are playing that. But we don't have anything close to that in baseball. And I wonder how come baseball hasn't never taken an agenda to kind of get involved with that.
I think because baseball's too stubborn.
My man is being sarcastic.
Yeah, I'm gonna put him on there. He gonna see what's gonna happen. I'm gonna put him on blast. Dan gonna text me like after the show and be like, "Hey man, I was just messing with you, but I'm gonna put you on blast."
That's all good. I like the
That's him. That's him. No, he's good people.
Yeah. No, but I just always want. I mean, I wonder why, especially now. Like now, why the iron is hot. Everything's kind of blowing, starting to blow up. We got the Olympics coming up. We got, and like you said, women are winning in professional sports right now. They're taking it to a whole nother level. Why they haven't tried to endorse that? Why they haven't tried to bring that to the forefront? Because that's
I think it's just because baseball is stubborn, right? It's the most superstitious game. It's the most It took so long for a woman to get into the front office like she did over at, what was it, the Marlins, Florida Marlins. Mm-hmm. And it's quote unquote America's game. But again, they're being selfish and they're being stupid and they're being stubborn and that's why they're getting left behind as well. You've made that statement before. Baseball's getting left behind. And look, I'm a baseball dude. I grew up I am a baseball person. But by not moving with the times and not seeing what's happening in front of them, being left behind and missing a lot of opportunity, missing a lot of revenue, right? By not being inclusive to that perspective. So I think they're just being lazy, to be honest with you.
Fair. That's fair.
Gretchen says women always been killing it. Difference now is the media and the men are starting to pay attention. Hey, salute to you. That's true though. We'll take them lumps. We'll take them lumps, and we need to have been paying attention. But now, we teaching old dog new tricks. I've always been watching women's sports, but I can't talk for these other cats out here. I'm gonna stay on Gretchen's good side. I'm not gonna mess up.
Yeah. No, it's exciting times, man. I think for women's sports, and like we always talk about their market share, right? The market share they be able to command within their sport, and I think women's basketball, especially the collegiate level, has taken it to another level as far as grasping the market share. Matter of fact, not only they took it over. I think the women's championship game had more viewers than the men's championship game.
Oh, yeah, by far. The ticket prices were, I think the ticket prices were even more. I didn't know anyone except Coach that was on the men's side. I didn't know anybody except Coach Hurley. Yeah. Well, no. Yeah. What's the tall dude from Purdue? The tall dude from Purdue. Yeah, guy from Purdue. That was the only dude I knew. But I can name you the whole starting five on Iowa. I can name the entire starting five on Iowa. And on the South Carolina. So
with that being said, like the market share, they've taken over the market share for basically college basketball, the tournament wise, definitely. Now they will be able to command that money they deserve.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know. Remember a few years ago?
Who at the collegiate level or at the next
Collegiate
level?
level.
Okay.
Collegiate level. WNBA is going to take a little bit longer. It's going to take a little bit longer to get there. But I shared my ideas how that should be able to work. But I think the collegiate level, I think the women's basketball now is taking over the level, where they are the more marketable. They are the more ones that are out there. They're the ones you see on all the commercials now. They are the ones that have taken over, and they're taking over the viewership. For them to have 12 million viewers for the semifinal game, and I don't even know how much they had for the final game, but let's just say they had 10 million. You mean to tell me out of 2 games they had over 22 million viewers?
Yes.
You can start to command now. You can start to command your revenue, right? Well, we're drawing more than the men are. Why aren't we getting equal pay for when our schools win that the men's teams are getting? The men's teams are getting millions of dollars when their school wins the NCAA tournament. The women's aren't. I think they're not getting even close to that amount of money. But now they have the viewership.
I even wonder, and I don't want to offend anyone, but I want to have a conversation because, again, this is what we do. So the TV viewership was there. The channels were there because the women were on ESPN, and I think the men were on ABC, same network. And I say I don't want to offend anyone. The women were in Cleveland.
Yes.
And the fellas were in, where were they at? Arizona? I can't again. We didn't pay attention. But see, is Cleveland the right place now? Right now that you got the Agent Wilsons and you got the you got the Pow Pows
and Juju.
Come on, you got Juju, you got Pow Pow, you got these folks playing and hooping. You got the Paige Buckners, man. Listen, I'm a Paige Buckner fan. I wanted UConn to win, but now you got them. Are they going to be in Vegas? Are they going to be in Los Angeles? And again, I don't want to disrespect anybody out in Cleveland, but I'm just wondering, market size.
Oh, I guarantee you that the venue, and it's been upscaled to be bigger. You got to think, Juju and all those guys, all those women coming back that are marquee names.
Freshmen.
Marquee names. Those are marquee names now. They are headliner names that's going to draw the box office draw. I think now that the championship won't be, not to be disrespectful for Cleveland, but I think now it's going to be held at a bigger venue, whether it be, somewhere like, I think they tried to whether it be LA. I think they're ready for a big city, a really big city, a metropolis city, whether it be in LA, they might even be in New York.
Wow.
Because I think they now have the namesake, they have the draw, they have the competition. People are starting to appreciate their game a lot more. And all in all, no one can knock it. The women's is bigger than the men's now. It's bigger. You can't, there's nothing even to say about them. They're bigger than the men. Name one of those men players that won a championship on a commercial. Name one. That's on any commercial. I can name 5 commercials that Juju's on right now.
Yes. I know Caitlin's on, and you just saw the story go by. Name one of these players whose school is retiring their jersey.
Yeah.
Besides number 22 from Iowa. All right. No one's had that impact on the program, on the school, on the game. And the respect, the respect heard between the coaches at the entire level. When Kim Mulkey was saying, listen, and she was doing her interview, she said, listen, I'm glad Caitlin Clark is leaving because she put a working on us. Respect. When Dawn Staley, and anytime Dawn Staley opens her mouth, y'all better listen. And she gave none but mad props to everyone that she competed against because she recognized game, all of that. Coach from Iowa, again, giving the respect to all the players that are out there, not just the ones that are moving to the WNBA, but the Jujus and the Pow Pows who are just freshmen and sophomores. We still got 2 more years at least of them.
Yeah.
Man.
Yep. And the greater thing about it is we could say they're not getting paid, but they are getting paid because the NILs are giving them so much money at that level that they're practically getting paid to play college basketball that will be equivalent to them playing in the professionals. Right. So those women are now starting to get paid, big time. Yeah. So kudos to all that. I mean, I just think it's just elevated to a next level, man. I mean, people that want to be in denial, I don't know what to tell you, man. Women's basketball, college basketball is here to stay. And I think it's going to be here to stay for at least another couple of years.
So, it's not going away. So much so, Listen, so much so that for the first time ever, I'm looking at this. I'm looking at the WNBA
Yeah.
draft, and I put the
Yep.
WNBA draft on my calendar to make sure that I watch that to see who may be going when and where.
Yep.
It's a highly possibility that Caitlin's going to Indiana because
Yep.
first overall pick. Cameron
Makes sense,
Brink,
right? Close to home. Yep.
yeah. I mean, Cameron Brink coming from Stanford makes sense that she stays in LA. Man,
Yep.
she was tough too as well. Camilla
Yeah.
Cardoso, oh my God, don't let her go to Chicago again. These
But you know
picks
what?
just seem to work.
I would hope the WNBA strikes the iron, watch how it expands. We all talked about this. I mean, you talked about it. Hope they strike the iron and use this for expansion as well. Because to me, I would think an ideal team would be in Des Moines, Iowa, and we draft Caitlin Clark #1 at Des Moines, Iowa, and we own the state for the next 4 or 5 years in Iowa.
Mhm.
Like, let's start building these you can, because Iowa, they would have a sustainable crowd, right? Everyone would want to see Caitlin Clark.
Definitely.
In Iowa, because they've already supported her in Iowa for so long. So why not take the major city and let's put a team there? Let's just see if the market can sustain it. If the market can't sustain it, we just move it to another city. If it's not feasible. But I do believe they need to strike the iron while it's super duper hot with all these. I like Indiana. Don't get me wrong. Nothing wrong with going to Indianapolis and all that stuff. But it just seems like, wow, we have probably one of the most premier dynamic players to ever play college basketball. We have opportunity. Why it's still not that expensive to have an WNBA team to get somebody to say, let's build a WNBA team in Des Moines and let's make her be the #1 point pick of Des Moines.
And let's put statues up. Let's name a burger after it. Right. Do all the thing. Like you said, just milk it. Right.
Yep. just tear it up from a standpoint.
I mean, Ice Cube already offered her $5 million. Y'all better come through. Y'all better.
The big three. But see this, and I heard
she's not going there.
Listen to wait. I heard it. This is what I heard. They said, why doesn't she take the big three, $5 million, right? Play in that for 1 year, 2 years, and now she uses that as leverage against the WNBA. Do you want her to come and play? Because let's be honest with you, if she goes to the big three, it does nothing but make her game better. She's going to be playing against ex-NBA guys. Her game is nothing but going to get better. It's never going to get worse. It's going to get better. So with that being said, they're like, if she took that $5 million, blew up the big three, and they said, you know what? If you want me to come over to the WNBA, you need to pay me. And now you have to pay my counterparts. Because now she controls. Caitlin Clark is going to control the market of the WNBA right for a minute. Because she can command what she wants.
Yeah, just won the John Wooden Award other night, so Player of the Year. I liking what you said too, and y'all chime in the comments. I liking what you just said though to Caleb Williams. And that's a slippery slope, right? Going somewhere else, grabbing all this money, and then coming back and then trying to make some demands.
Yep.
Probably she has a better opportunity to do it than a Caleb Williams, but I see mirror images of the whole thing. Caleb asking for equity in a team. Come on, brother. You're not getting
keep harping on that. I mean, but you know what?
I'm like an elephant. I don't forget stuff. I'm not going to let him go.
Closed mouths don't get fed, and I think at some point some player will get equity in the team at some point as we're coming out. I just don't. I think his body of work doesn't transcend for me giving you equity to the team. Obviously, to me, it wouldn't as an owner. Caitlin Clark, though, I think her and Angel Reese are going to transcend what's going to happen at the next level of WNBA. I truly do believe that, not from a play standpoint, but from a market standpoint. Like, listen, wherever I go, I'm selling out. I've got a $5 million deal that somebody wants to pay already on the table. All right, WNBA. We've generated the market buzz at the collegiate level. We still should be doing it because let's be real. Las Vegas sells out every game. The Aces sell out every game.
Yeah.
Caitlin Clark is going to probably sell out every game she goes to. Let's be real. Unless her team is just horrible, they're going to sell out every game she plays in. Angel Reese is going to be a dominant force, and if her team starts winning, she's going to generate a big fan base. Why when the WNBA start to leverage off of these types of opportunities? And obviously, they need to get paid for it. I think we're going to witness something different, man. It's going to be a game changer. I do believe.
We'll see. To answer this question, Dan, I wonder, because he's asking how much equity, what kind of wealth are we talking about on the ownership side on the WNBA? Definitely nothing compared to like an NFL, and nothing compared to that. I don't think anything even compared to NBA money. But here's the folks who owns the Atlanta Dream. 3 folks, or a conglomerate of folks. One man owns the Chicago Sky. Indian tribe owns the Connecticut Sun. So, I don't know any of these cats.
Whatever. I bet you they got money.
They got a couple of dollars, right? That's right. Magic.
They got some dollars.
Magic's part of the Sparks.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Well, they could do some things. They could do some things.
But all the Sounders is played off the collective bargain and the TV rights. I think the TV rights are going to explode for the WNBA once these young ladies sign. I guarantee you, Caitlin Clark's first WNBA game is going to be huge on TV, and every camera is going to be there to watch.
Listen, I saw a story. So if she does go to Indiana, what we're kind of leaning towards, she's obviously more than likely going to be the first round pick. But I saw a story that 90% of their games are televised.
Yeah, see.
This is before she even signed any paperwork. 90% of their home games are televised.
So that's what I'm saying, man. So I think they're going to have an opportunity to change the way the revenue base is done in the WNBA, which is going to give us even a better product. Because now, not only we get the best players that are playing in our college room to come over and play, we're going to start to see the best players in the world, women players in the world to come over and play, which I'm sure there's a lot over in Europe and so on and so on. They get the opportunity to come over and play. So I think it'll eventually be a world league, just like the NBA starting to get right now.
Yeah.
A lot of talented players.
I'm looking up at this story right here because Shirley was asking, will they? We talked about them doing some other things. Listen, Angel reaches out there modeling for Vogue. She's gonna be on the front cover of Vogue. She getting that money declared for the draft. Caitlin offered $5 million to go hang out with Ice Cube. Will they play for the Olympics? They haven't said, but yeah. I don't know.
I see why not. I don't know why they wouldn't.
I don't know. I haven't seen any stories, and I was trying to look up while we were talking about it just now, but they haven't said that they would publicly go over there and play. That would be dope, though. Mm-hmm. That would be dope. Yeah. Would love to see them bring a gold medal, go down to Paris, bring us home a gold medal in women's basketball.
Can you imagine seeing them two with Juju?
Oh my gosh, come on!
All them play on one team.
I'm buying another jersey. I'm buying
that would be something special to see. But I think the Olympics do go with the WNBA team, right? They go with the WNBA.
Yeah.
The professionals, right?
Yeah.
So it would be interesting to see how that dynamic comes together for them to play.
Crazy, man. This is good stuff, man. See, exciting stories. We know we had to get through the hard conversations at the beginning, right? And I know folks is probably warm. You see me drinking from Team No. Hold on, man. Yeah, there you go. Golly, 16-ounce Team No Sleep glass in the shop right now.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Can you promote that bourbon real quick? Or one of our sponsors?
Oh no, I can't get. It's way over there. But next week it will be.
I'm about to remind you before the show.
Yeah, it'll be in the little ticker down there at the bottom too, like everybody else, right? But yeah, man, I got to make sure that the bourbon's gonna be. Man, I'm slipping.
Absolutely, it's all good. So let we got next, man. We good?
Yeah, but I just have one last story, and I saw when he posted this online, and I was concerned about it. It's back to a football story, and it's UFL, right? So it was pretty cool to see the UFL out there playing, but then we saw Donald De La Haye, the Deestroyer, out there hurt himself on a hard play. What happened? Oh Lord, Beecher report just went. There we go. Fractured his neck on a tackle. I saw him do it, but he knew better after he made the tackle. Because I saw an IG story that he wrote. He said, "Man, I got bad form. I shouldn't have done it because the way that I made that tackle was definitely on me." So he's in good spirits. He's out obviously for a while, but he did fracture his neck doing a particular play. But have you watched any of the UFL yet?
I watched glimpses of it. I caught a couple of bit of pieces of some of the game. I just think that the UFL is in an interesting error in arena, because they are going to have a tough time being sustainable, I think, and staying with it for a long period of time. And the reason why I say that, the NBA is starting to kind of shut down some of the G League teams, and the reason why is because Adam Silverman says, why do we need to pay for a development league when kids in college are now being paid to get developed?
Mm-hmm.
Why are they getting the opportunity to double dip when they should go to school for 4 years? They're getting paid for playing for 4 years, and then we'll draft it from that point on. From there, why are we funding another league? I think the NFL at some point are going to see that the same way with college football. Like, we don't need to pay for another intermediate league. Your intermediate league is going to be the NCAA or NAIA football. You're getting paid at those levels through NAIA deals.
Yeah.
Then you come here. What that does, that affects the UFL. Is there a market for the UFL at that point? And I don't know. So I think this is interesting times for them. I think they got to figure out a way to draw more viewership and draw more of a fan base. Me particularly, I think they're in the wrong cities. I think they really should have established kind of their city base. I thought the USFL had a really good idea, having them all in one area, in one city, representing every city until they can get themselves off the ground where people can see multiple games in one area and they can sell the fan base. I think right now, with it bounced all over, it's just not working right now, except for in St. Louis. I saw the St. Louis game. That was pretty crowded, pretty packed in their arena. But I don't know. I mean, maybe they got a plan. I mean, that's why they put it together. I think, the Rock and his wife, I think they got a great idea and a great premise. I just don't know how sustainable and how long it's going to be able to last if they don't get enough viewership or enough of a fan base. And I know Fox is backing them up, which is a good thing.
That's a good thing.
That doesn't even seem to be enough. Yeah, that doesn't seem to be enough as of right now. It doesn't even seem to be enough right now. I have ideas. I think they could do some different things differently. I think they need to. One thing they need to do, and I'm going to give them free game, they need to create a fantasy football league for the UFL.
Oh, my gosh.
That's what the NFL is based on.
The Rock is the right person to be behind that, too.
Yes. It'd be perfect. Create a fantasy league for the UFL, and then now you can catapult. Now, because fantasy football players are really into, that's what they're into, the fantasy football, the points and all that stuff. That'll drive some of the things that's going on in the UFL. It'll gain its popularity. People will be there. And if you can partner with FanDuel or one of them, the person that wins all of the fantasy football wins a certain amount of money. Now you got a lot of people buying in, and people want to see what's going on and watch the players and watch the highlights, what's going on. I think that would be one of the saving points for the league.
Love it. There we go. Listen, y'all better listen to Montel.
Timestamp that, man. Timestamp that so listen, they take my idea.
Hey, Chris Stone is in here. He know I will immediately take a good gem like that and put it out there all over the interwebs. So we will do that. And hold on. See, Gretchen down here playing too. She says we got stats on so many sports. What's the latest news on up and coming stars of high school rodeo in Wyoming and in Colorado? Gretchen, don't trip.
Don't know much about it, but I'm sure there's something there. Yeah.
Hey, you can't see the eyes as they moving back and forth. You put a comment in the comments. You put a statement in the comments. I will find it. I'm good at the Google and the Yahoo and the I don't know who the up and coming stars are, but listen, I got some stats for you. I can let you know when they playing and that kind of thing. So yeah, we can meet all needs.
Shout out to the Wyoming and Colorado rodeo squads and teams, man, for high school. Man, I applaud you. That's something I couldn't do. So let them get down with it.
Listen, out cool. There in Colorado, they are the national championship winners right there, and I can give you the names right there. So I got these things. Hold on, my 6-year-old grandson loves this fantasy. Okay, I thought she was trying to. Yeah, but yeah, we can get you all that information that you need.
Yeah. So before we wrap up, man, let's talk about this Ohtani thing again, man.
Oh my God! See, okay, let me make sure that I got enough tape on the reel here because I know we got to get something going. Come on.
No, we're not getting it. No, I'm just saying, well, Ohtani, man, I thought I read something about that. He supposedly gave someone some money to gamble for him or something like that, and I just think, man, Major League Baseball just needs to be called out about the lie, man. I do not. There's no
quiet, way. But it's gotten kind of quiet about this whole major story.
They want it to go away. Yeah, they're trying to make it go away. They don't want to have anything to do with it. Rightfully so. Like I said, he's the face of international. He's the face of baseball on an international level. I get it. talented player in baseball. But for you guys to push it out on the interpreter, I think that's kind of foul. I just don't think that's I don't think that's a reality. I don't think you give our interpreter access to $4 million. There's no way, no how.
So you don't think this is you think my man is being used as a fall guy, and I'm saying that facetiously.
Oh yeah, he is the fall guy. He's the fall guy. He's a straight fall guy. There's a new movie called Fall Guy too. He's the star of it. Coming out. He's the star of it.
My man is going down for this, and I know this was a picture taken before the allegations came out because he's still sitting next to him. He's still employed, but there's some things going on behind the scenes, and Ohtani knows a lot more than he's being told, and for his interpreter, this dude to take the fall for everything like this. I lived in Japan for 4 years. I know what honor means to that culture, and this has got to be devastating on all sides, on everyone's side, right? So this is one of those things that just has there's no good outcome to this. You got caught probably more than $4.5 million. Probably more, to be honest with you. I think they just found $4.5 million. I think
it's got to be more. Yeah, it's got to be more. I mean, but I'm just saying, when do you allow your interpreter to have access to $4 million of your dollars? He's not a business manager.
Yeah.
He's not an accountant. He's your interpreter. I find that hard to believe that a professional athlete and the team that are around him, even his personal accountant, would say, wow, you're going to give your interpreter access to $4 million? Don't think that's a good idea. So my question is how dumb does the Major League Baseball, who's pushing this narrative, think us, the public, is?
Just like you said last week, how you going to get this man access to your accounts?
Yeah, he's your interpreter.
All he's doing is talking. He can't sign. He should not be able to sign nothing. He shouldn't be able to notarize anything. He shouldn't even be able to, I don't know, make a reservation for you, to be honest with you. He probably can't do that. But
okay, so my question is, so let's play the scenario out real quick. Like, okay, hey, Ohtani, man, I need some money. I need some money to do X, Y, Z. Ohtani's going to say, okay, well, let's say how much you need. Oh, man, I need to get $50,000. For what? Right? That's the question. For what? Oh, I'm going to go run X, Y, and Z. Why would I? Hold on. I only pay you $100,000 a year, 50 to $100,000 a year, and you want me to give you an additional $50,000 for something else?
What you doing, brother? Yeah, what you need this money for?
Yeah.
No questions, huh? Just not going. You got all that kind of trust. No questions.
There is no way. There's no way. No way that you give your interpreter access to $4 million. Unless you willingly gave him $4 million, you knew it was for. If you knew what it was for.
Even over time.
Now, me, personally, the interpreter dude, kudos to him because he keeping his mouth straight shut. He ain't saying nothing.
Yeah.
I'm calling this, I'm labeling this the Balco 2, number 2. This Balco number 2 right here.
Oh my God.
My man keeping his mouth shut. He's like, I'm gonna go down the flame and my family's just gonna be taken care of after it's all said and done.
I'm gonna go sit down for a couple of years. I'm gonna get a little probation. I'm gonna have to wear a monitor, whatever. I have to check in with a PO. But you know what? When all is said and done, I'm gonna invest in some real estate, and we're gonna have a new. Okay, everybody gonna have new.
We're gonna have a new life. The life is. I'm gonna ride off into the sunset like homeboy from Balco. I don't know what he doing now, where he at in his life now. But wherever it is, I bet you he's sipping somewhere with a pina colada, chilling with a whole lot of money. So I'm assuming this is gonna be Balco number 2, and this guy's gonna take the fall, and he's gonna and Ohtani's people will take care of him, and they'll sweep it all under the rug.
Nobody said much.
I find it real funny. I find it funny. A week ago, this is the hottest story, and now it's nothing. The flame is gone. It's out.
Yeah. Well, the season started, so they're trying to push the attention, right? Don't look over here. Don't look at the Wizard of Oz. Don't look at the guy behind the curtain pulling the strings. Yeah. Look over here. Look over here. Look at the home runs, right? Look at that.
That's crazy.
Look at all this other
crazy,
stuff.
Man. But I mean, hey, more power to him, man. I guess so. But I'm just saying, Major League Baseball, we're not stupid. Come on,
Yeah.
man. That
Yeah.
narrative ain't cool.
Yeah, but we gonna keep a track of it, right?
Yeah.
A lot of the stories that we've said over the years that we gonna keep an eye on have come back into fruition of some aha moments, and
Mhm.
I know this is also going to turn into an aha moment. Somebody is going to admit something. Karma's
I
going to get
see.
them.
I'm gonna tell you, I beg to differ. That's a billion. That man is worth $1 billion. Billionaires don't fall. Not for gambling. They don't fall, bro. They gonna keep whatever they're gonna have to do to keep this on the zip like touch, throw it away. That's how it's gonna be. So I think they'll just push it so long until we just get tired of hearing the story. It becomes not even news anymore. But I'm just saying, I'm not Boo Boo the Clown. You can't fool me telling me that you gave $4 million to your interpreter and said that it's okay. And he spent it. And he not only did you give him $4 million, he didn't invest it. He just wasted it. It's gone.
He just threw it away, threw it down the toilet. Montel said, you just said billionaires don't fall. My God,
They don't fall, bro. Name me a billionaire that went down for a crime. Name me one billionaire that went down for a crime. I'll wait.
I'm through.
I'm still waiting.
I'll wait. He said, I'll wait. Chief, you still here, man? Go ahead and comment. Everybody on Twitter that's watching, I see the numbers. We see you watching. Go ahead, don't be afraid to leave a comment. Oh my God. He said, I will wait. There is nobody. But we're gonna keep what we will do, we will keep watching. MLB opens the investigation into the Ohtani interpreter allegations. That was just a couple of days ago. We still watching. So, and we very thorough. Like I said, I'm an elephant. I remember everything. I may not act like it. I may act like I forget, but we gonna keep that. He over there still holding his breath. Good Lord have mercy. Can't win. Montel Allen is thorough, ladies and gentlemen. Thorough. Brother, that's it.
I ain't see. There wasn't one comment that said you can find a
I
billionaire.
know. I'm sitting here watching too. I put the call out to all the platforms. I'm looking at all the windows, looking at all the screens to see. So
no, there's none, man. He's a billionaire. No billionaires don't go down for crimes, man. Unfortunately, that's just the way our society is. There's no different. I just believe believe that's what it is. So if anybody can name a billionaire that went down for a crime, please let me know. So I can hear about it. And I ain't talking about a millionaire. I'm talking about a billionaire. A billionaire. I've never heard of a billionaire going out for a crime. So there it
crazy.
is.
It just went across the bottom ticker too, as the story we just talked about. So the interpreters going down for the whole situation, not Ohtani admitting anything, but that's just funny that it just went across the ticker just now.
Yeah, of course
folks.
he is.
Of
course he is. Of course he is. But hey, everybody out there, thank you guys for joining Team No Sleep. We appreciate you guys, our fans, everybody that chimed in. Remember, always be comfortable having uncomfortable conversations because that's the way we learn.
That's it, man. Listen, the 50 of y'all that's watching still right now, listen, y'all should have chimed in. We'll be back, though, Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. Pacific time. Team No Sleep. Social Impact of Sport. We out.